up, all? I'm Erin. I'm here from One Light Studio, and with me is the one and only frontman, Papo Cabra from Tenderloin Hooker Needles. Papo, thank you so much for being here with us in the One Light Studio. So happy to have you. I just can't express how thrilled I am to get to talk to you about Tenderloin Hooker Needles, which is one of the most underground bands I've ever heard of. It's raw, it's gritty, it's dirty, it's Tenderloin. So let's get into it. Tell me, how did you come up with that name?
Well, first of all, I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to be with you and One Light Studios and tell this unusual story and having a little bit of wine a little bit before Christmas. So let's start by that. So, how did I come up with the name Tenderloin Hooker Needles?
We're dying to know. It's like your three best things, right?
You got tenderloin meat, hookers, and needles. You're correct.
How can you go on with that?
So many people try to find an impactful name for a band, Tenderloin Hooker Needles. So that's how this came about. I was living in San Francisco in 2008. And I recently have been relocated there. And I was having dinner by the neighborhood called Tenderloin, which we all know struggles a little bit. And at the time in 2008, it was actually pretty rough. Like affectionately, I will say what I would call crack complexes.
Okay.
Where you see an array of tents and cardboard boxes and the homeless people, and I feel bad for them. This is how this whole thing was born. Sorry, I've been having a little bit of a cold, not my growling. And when they were there, they set up this. It's almost like Skid Row in LA, but it was a little bit different. It's almost like they had already done like the little alleys and everything. It really had become a complex. And I step outside a restaurant at the Tenderloin. They have fantastic pho, by the way. I forgot the name of it right now, but if you're listening,
find that place.
Go to a pho restaurant or have been to a pho restaurant in the Tenderloin district, a little bit underground by the sidewalk. The place is phenomenal, but I can't remember the name. So I step outside. I'm in the Tenderloin. I literally look to one side, and there is a needle on the sidewalk. And I look to the other side, and there is a prostitute. So I always wanted to do something kind of musically. And I had the three best things in there right now that could give me a name. Tenderloin, Hooker, Needle. And that's how that name came.
Wow, that's fascinating. So tell us now, does that influence your musical process and journey? Like, where do you guys get started? I know you've got, Rosa La Transmaniac, who is a killer on bass, and then you've got Puerco Suarez. Like, what do you all do to get together and start coming up with these?
The rotating cast of characters, that's what I call it. Actually, for a while, I did say that the ghost of Taylor Hawkins was drumming for us.
Oh, wow. Impressive.
And the problem, so Papo Cabras, if you don't mind me, let me dwell into a little bit of history and influences of this.
Please, what has inspired this band?
So, at number one, first and foremost, is Pungent Stench from Austria.
Love them.
They were always irreverent. They have a fantastic album called Club Mundo Bizarro that tackle things in your face. That was the goal of Tenderloin Hooker Needles. Like, no fake wokeness, not playing that you're the hero for victims. We decided to flip that story and impersonate the victims.
Wow.
We wanted to put ourselves in the mindset of what the homeless people, the addicted to heavy drugs, what would their life be? And we decided to make a band around that. So Point and Stench created scenarios and situations where they will put themselves in that. Like if you wanted to tackle necrophilia, They will make a song as if they were necrophilia.
And who touches on that subject?
Exactly. No one wants to talk about fucking dead people. But point is, they did. Then, in the early 90s, I came across the band Brujeria. This is a very long-winded way of explaining the characters that make Tenderloin Hooker Needles. So Brujeria was a band that portrayed to be narcos, but not narcos as they know in the United States. Usually a narco in the United States many times is the DEA. Or the narcos is the narco traffickers, people that sell and run drugs and everything. And Brujeria, which were members of Fear Factory, Napalm Death, sometimes Cradle of Filth, they will actually make these tapes, put it on manila envelopes, ship them out of Mexico, portraying that they were part of a satanic narco drug dealing group, and sending them over to the United States, and eventually ended up in the hands of Jello Biafra with alternative tentacles for a while. And many people believed that they were real, so the FBI sent them out. And we got together at the time and said, we can do the same. We can make people believe to raise awareness of the homeless situation in San Francisco at the time. We're going to be able to do this. So, and then we had to create a cast of characters. And for example, in Pungent Stench, Martin Schureng, who's awesome, and I love him, and I love everybody around Martin Schureng.
We hired you, Martin.
Where are you, Martin? His nickname was El Cochino, the pig. The singer of Brujeria, who passed away this year, and I'm terribly sad about it because I love him, is Juan Brujo. So then, for a little while, I was Jay Spoon. Of course, for burning the spoon, right? So then I decided to play a little bit more on the elements because I'm Latin. To call myself Papo Cabras. Other contributors, which is a rotating, a revolving door, of the character is Rosa la Transmaniac. And then we have Puerca Suarez, which is always a rotated singer. Puerca Suarez is a play on bringing awareness to misogyny by being misogynist.
I love it.
Papo Cabras is a squatter that is addicted to heroin, and that is the character to bring awareness to the drug addiction. Rosa la Transmaniac, the longest running joke for close to 17 years now, is awareness against violence for the transgender community. So Rosa la Transmaniac is a rotating character of a man that is fighting really hard to be a woman because identifies as a woman, but it never goes right for it. Because we can, for 17 years, Rosa la Transmaniac character cannot be defined as either. Hormones didn't work, he gets beat up, surgeries don't work. But the reason why the storyline of Rosa la Transmaniac is so important is because that gives you actually a time span where these issues have not been addressed in reality.
And you have to deal with them in your face.
Correct. So those are the origins of the cast of characters. We have had contributors from everywhere. Somebody sends us drum tracks from Australia one time. We mix them in. So it became this very underground collaboration online in a way, and we were able to craft our characters in a way that people actually for a while thought that we were squatters. That we were addicted to heroin. We saw one time on an inlay, we included the chemical formula for heroin and other drugs if you wanted to cook them yourself.
Oh, wow.
And we did
Education
that.
101.
Well, we did that because at the same time we were having a little bit of the rising crisis of the meth labs and people blowing up at their own places and stuff. So we kind of...
You wanted safety protocols
so
were included.
It was going to happen anyway. Somebody's going to do it anyway. And this is what Tenderloin Hooker Needles was all about. It's not the fakeness. We had a lot of people in San Francisco at the time that were like, oh, I'm for the people, well, I'm for this. And they're not really for it because they have never really devoted to understand the problem. Which also at the time, for example, I came up with a song that was called Fuck Your Free Tibet Lame Ass Shirt. Because we had a lot of white people, I'm going to say it that way, white hipsters going around, free Tibet, free Tibet.
They're the archer activists.
Exactly. It's the fall activists, right? So, anyways, that's the origin. So what's the future look like for Tenderloin Hooker Needles? What are you all up to? What? Oh, we're trying to come back. Some of us that have been the collaborators have gotten in touch. We released, this is something Erin is not saying, but she helped us out on a track last year.
I did have a little bit to do with their Christmas track.
So, she actually did a fantastic Yoko Ono last year. And so this year we're planning to release again, try to make it a little bit larger. And we're working on a concept album around being a 1970s roller derby queen from the low circuits of Ohio.
Oh, well, if you need any help with that.
Oh, we're going to probably recruit you. And people that want to collaborate to this weird thing that Tenderloin Hooker Needles is. We remember that track last year.
Oh, we had so much fun.
Somebody.
I was super touched that you invited me.
Thank you for admitting that you broke up the Beatles on that thing, right? So that's the story. There's one thing that I haven't revealed to anybody, and feel free to jump in with the weird names. But Tenderloin Hooker Needles started in San Francisco. It was a fuck you to the hypocrisy of fighting for the rights of people, just not knowing what's happening on their lives, and that's how that was born. When I got relocated to other cities, I decided to capture what the city was about and rename the band temporarily.
So you get the essence of that city.
Of that city.
So then what's your temporary band name now?
No, we're back to Tenderloin Hooker Needles. For a while, since we're in Colorado, it was called Unshaving Hippie Chicks.
Still a great name, by the way.
It was a good day. We might do it again, but it was Unshaving Hippie Chicks. When I lived in San Luis and got associated with some people in San Luis doing this, it was called Fist Fucking Soccer Moms.
Wow, another great name.
Because the reason why is that I always saw minivans.
You kind of don't want to let go of these names. Then you might have moved.
So then, since I'm Latin, I lived in Miami. I was relocated to Miami after San Luis, and it became Cuba Rican Grind All-Stars.
Oh, wow.
And then we returned back to Tenderloin Hooker Needles, because Tenderloin Hooker Needles encompasses everything that we wanted to communicate, right? Like seriously, who wants to fight for the rights of fist fucking soccer moms? Come on, no one does, right?
But, well, if I am a soccer mom, maybe.
But are you a fist fucking soccer mom?
I guess if I lived in Minnesota, I might become one.
Anything on the Midwest, you can actually become a fist fucking soccer mom. And so those are the things that we actually...
No, I love that you're bringing awareness. You're actually tackling causes that do impact many communities across the states. It's not just San Francisco that has a Tenderloin Hooker Needle problem.
I mean, I'm seeing it on Denver now. Like Denver started having that problem maybe about 5 years ago. And it started to feel like 2008 San Francisco or 2015 Portland. So the problem has now been addressed. I read that San Francisco, for like the Pope visit or something like that, just simply took them out of the streets and hit them.
Just a temporary band-aid solution. Like, no, there's nothing to see here.
Well, and no one and no one addresses the real thing. Like another thing when Tenderloin Hooker Needles started, and by the way, thank you for pointing out all the stuff you found online about us, like the syringe dispenser.
Oh, yes. The artwork. I forgot to touch upon the artwork that you created, right?
Yeah.
It's incredible, the level of detail that you put into it. And even though it's just a syringe in a box.
Yeah, that has a history too. So San Francisco started trying the clinics.
The needle share program?
Yeah, take a needle, leave a needle. Make a junkie foundation. That's actually what I called it for a while because it was not solving the problem. It was just getting a lot of people together to shoot up. But you couldn't really... They hit it under the banner of preventing disease and stuff. Sorry, once you get so high, you're going to take that needle, right? Yeah. So then the program was not really working. And I think more than I saw coming out of those clinics was people way more high. And you had to have people on standby outside with Narcan to bring it back to life. So you're essentially just band-aiding the problem or making it feel like you're doing something about the problem, but you're not really doing anything.
Right.
And I don't have the solution. Like, I really don't. I really don't know what the fuck to do. But I figured instead of being fake about it, let's bring it to light. Now, granted, I did talk to homeless people. I did talk to people that were actually smoking crack outside in the Tenderloin, and I told them about Tenderloin Hooker Needles, and they thought that was the coolest shit. And then one guy, I had to shake his hand, because something I haven't really talked about is that in Miami, I was homeless for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was homeless from like 95 to 96.
So you also have that.
It brought me back. It brought me back, and I was following bands. And then a dude, and sad to say, he's probably not alive anymore, was wearing a cross patch. So one of the ideas was to bring a little bit of cross punk back, because I was actually cross punk. Sorry about that. But you will have your battle jackets with different patches, but not like the battle ones. This was done basically with a liquid paint.
Oh, okay.
Like your logo. Not like your fancy Shanola, Detroit, go Detroit, or Lives. But this guy had a patch of ass sock. Ass sock, it was on the base of like phobia and nausea, and it was crusty.
And you mentioned them as an influence.
Ass fuck it's a huge influence of ours, ass fuck. And I went to an ass fuck show, if you can call it shows, back around the area where they were in St. Petersburg, Tampa. And I saw ass suck. And I told this dude, like, hey, man, we just feel sorry for your situation. We're just trying to put it out there. And I have to shake your hand for having an ass suck patch, right? It was, for us, it was point and stench, brujeria. We love ass suck. We love nausea. And we loved Anal Cunt.
Oh, yes. You actually did collaborate with Anal Cunt.
I did a collaboration with some of the folks from Anal Cunt. They also have a rotating door, except Tim Morse, because to quote Seth Putnam, every album had something that said Tim Morse was gay. And of course it was a joke, but now in woke times you can say that. Oh my God, I'm sad. And oh, well, Tim Morse, you're not gay. We know that. So Anal Cunt was also an influence, and I actually did a tribute under the Tenderloin Hooker Needles banner, for Seth Putnam when he passed away, and I had to take his irreverence, to transport the song, because Anal Cunt wasn't about the music. Anal Cunt wasn't about them. Anal Cunt was about the song titles. It was song titles to shock you. Like 80 titles on a CD.
Oh, wow.
And all of them, that's the one that actually gave me the lyric, "You look adopted."
Great line.
He made a spoof "Picnic of Love," where he has that great acoustic song of "I respect your feelings. I respect your feelings as a woman."
All on key, right?
Yeah, key don't matter.
And we're back with Papo Cabra from Tenderloin Hooker Needles. Thank you so much, Papo, for sticking around with us.
Of course, this is fantastic that I get to talk about it after so many years, and people sometimes finding it silly and not a proper use of the time. But I had a lot of fun with it, and you seem to have found a lot of things about us that I actually didn't know that they were recorded up there.
I know. I was actually able to find old recordings of your grindcore karaoke. That was with Jay Randall, right?
That was Jay Randall.
Can you tell us more about how fun that was, what that is?
If you don't mind, this is a little bit of a trip back about what many of us were doing. So, grindcore karaoke was put on the early days of Bandcamp.
Oh, okay.
And Bandcamp was starting out, and I think this was now circa 2011, and Jay Randall from Agoraphobic Nosebleed decided to, Bonafide band actually, Scott Hall from Big Destroyer was there, I think, and Kat was one of the first female singers on a grindcore band with Agoraphobic. And Jay Randall was into harsh electronics at the time with Japanese torture comedy hour.
Oh, wow.
It's all about the name, right? Again, it's going back to like the anal con titles, names, right? And he started on Bandcamp a net label called Grindcore Karaoke. And he wanted to bring in pretty much everybody that was a bedroom or a basement recording artist. I'm using artist very loosely. And people like us. And Grindcore Karaoke will have a release pretty much constant on Bandcamp. It will be like Weekend Nachos, Kindergarten Hazy Ritual, Tenderloin Hooker Needles.
This sounds like a great lineup.
Chulo PV, Chulo Power Violins from Colombia. So Jay Randall with Grindcore Karaoke didn't just bring jackasses like us in here. He started getting them from different countries. And I think what Jay did with Grindcore Karaoke was not fully appreciated. So then our friend in Texas did Radio Robotica, which was another net label, and all the artwork and announcements were put on Tumblr at the time.
Okay.
So that's the story of Grindcore Karaoke. It was a way to release our music without sounding professional. It was really an expression.
So now I have to ask, how did you release music back then when we didn't have Spotify, or was it Napster? What?
It was hilarious how we did it. A very uncommon way. So I did the artwork in Adobe Illustrator.
Okay.
And I will include the cutouts like the syringe dispenser. So I made a box, told you where to glue it, where to fold it, and you could put your syringe in there. And I decided to take the iTunes music at the time sizes and do my lyrics, my credits, which my credits are irreverent always. There's always a shout out of a fuck you to somebody. And I decided to make booklets, just like a real album, at a barcode. And if you scan the barcode, it will be something, a phrase that will be completely fucked up and irreverent on purpose. So I was banking on somebody to actually scan the barcode. And we released everything through Dropbox.
Oh, wow.
We will put everything on Dropbox with the name of the album.
Oh, no, Dropbox has been around for that long.
Dropbox has been around for that long. And that's how distributed. So the original website of Tenderloin Hooker Needles had the latest release with a link to Dropbox. Wow. That's how I distribute it.
So one other thing I learned in my research, There's a story of stolen instruments.
Yes. So
I mean, I know you're playing squatters, but
we wanted to make the squatter story a little bit more real. And also as a fuck you to the yuppies and the hipsters that I was talking about earlier, where I essentially said on every single credit that our bass was stolen, our drum kit was stolen, and for processing our files, we were using a GarageBand, a Logic Pro at the time, which we still do. We said that we stole it from a hipster in a Starbucks that left it unattended, and he was busy writing his coming of age novel. And we took it and we installed the things under his iCloud account and built Logic Pro under that dude's account. So
did
that's...
you give that dude a name and a backstory?
No, I have not, but thank you for that. I'm actually going to include it. I'm going to affectionately call him Josh right now. He wears a beanie.
Okay. I can see Josh wearing a beanie.
He wears a Che Guevara t-shirt.
Of course he does.
He wears a cardigan. And he drinks chai latte. Let's just start with that.
With soy milk, right?
With soy milk. Of course it has to be soy milk. And he participates on San Francisco critical mass once a month, blocking everybody's traffic on his bicycle. So let's start with Josh. That's the stolen.
Thank you, Josh,
Thank you, imaginary Josh. We love you. Fuck you. So yeah.
I know you've done a couple albums. You have your first album, Flight of the Urban Pigeon.
Yes.
You also did you do a live album as well?
I did a fake live album.
So it's fake.
It's fake. It's fake live in Japan.
Oh wow.
Yes. It was called...
Trying to do a Dokken stint?
I was trying to do a Dokken thing. I was trying to do a Chip Trick live at Budokan. So it was done in 2 bars. One in Hiroshima, because of its explosive nature, of course. And the other one in Shibuya. So the fake live album is called Banging Hero, Shooting Shibuya, or Shooting Heroin again. And I have the artwork somewhere. Maybe we'll put it here later. And the reason for that is because one of my greatest inspirations, also a guy that I admire to this day, and I think you do also, is Peter Steele.
Oh, yes.
So Typo Negative took an advance money from the record label once for a live album, and they decided to do it on their basement. So I decided to do the same thing. So Banging Hero Shooting Shibuya had, after I recorded it with the collaborators, we made it sound like it was done in a bar. So there's broken bottles. There's people shouting, "You suck. Fuck you," just like Peter Steele did. And it has a fight that breaks out in the middle of a song. And so we decided to make that fake one.
I love that you put the same amount of attention to detail in your album cover artwork as you do in making even a fake live album.
The artwork also has a little bit of history. When we started Tenderloin Hooker Needles was in 2008. That was the first iPhone. Then a little bit later, the first iPad came out. So I decided to start drawing the artwork very fast on iPad and send it over and finish it up in Adobe Illustrator. And that way we actually did the artwork very fast. But yes, the artwork had to be on point. The music had to suck. We purposely wanted to sound as shitty as possible. Could we actually sound good? Maybe. But that's not the concept. A squatter homeland person that had to do things really fast and move on can't sound great.
No.
So we had to sound shitty, right? So that's a little bit of the history in that one.
So it's Christmas season, holiday time. I know we collaborated a bit last year on a grindcore Christmas album.
Yeah, we are from Texas.
But a grindcore Christmas is also a thing you do.
An institution
that you do once a year.
Yes.
Were you able to do one this year?
I'm gonna try to. We're cutting it close, so I'm not promising it. But a Grindcore Christmas came also out of Grindcore Karaoke, where a lot of us assholes will contribute a Christmas song. I did a cover for the little drummer boy, but the artwork for that one looked like Manowar. I wanted to paint like a super muscle-bound, homoerotic guy banging on a drum. And Grindcore Karaoke became a thing. Every year, all of us will get together. We will submit a track and see where it would actually go. Last year, you helped us on the Yoko Ono one. This year, if I can pull it off in the next days, I want to do a very beautiful Christmas around the band Swans.
Oh, Swans.
Because they're always so uplifting. They bring you with joy.
The most dangerous band in the world.
It's the most dangerous band in the world. Swans, I'm going to say this because I recorded. It has been said before, but not digitally. Swans is the most dangerous band in the world. Like I told somebody, beautiful music, it takes you high to where the noose is. It's you really want to hang yourself afterwards.
I have felt that way a couple times after hearing some Swans.
Oh, I know you have. I know you have. Actually, I think for a while you forbid me to even bring up the name Swans. So I do want to do a Christmas song. Very happy, very joyful in the style of Swans. As covered by Tenderloin Hooker Needles under the name Gaze Euthanasia.
Gaze Euthanasia. Well, we look forward to that. Hope you can get that out in the next few days.
I'm gonna cram through it. So yeah, thank you. Oh my God, we forgot one thing. I actually forgot it when I was on a vinyl in German.
Yes, I was meaning to ask you that.
Japanese Kampfspiel, Japanese combat radio. It's a German grindcore band led by Christoph, who's a graphic designer. And even though they're a real band, unlike us assholes, they have fantastic design. Their artwork is on point. Their music is fast as fuck. And they actually said, let's have a tribute album and invite bands. So I contacted Christoph, but not through Japanese Kampfspiel. I contacted him through his freelance design thing. And he was like, submit me something. I can't believe like somebody, I was living already in Denver. I can't believe somebody in Colorado knows who the fuck I am. So you're more than invited. So we quickly caught a cover of Business Class in a glorious about 28 seconds and submitted the track. And then Christoph, about a month later, sent me a vinyl. And I played it. And there was Tenderloin Hooker Needles. And thanks to your research, it was found on eBay.
Yes,
you
find it for sale.
Yep. So yeah, that's the story of Tenderloin Hooker Needles.
So what's something you would say to kids who are starting out, either trying to form their own band? What's advice that you give to someone young in this day and age?
I think I have several advices for that because, number one, take music as a way to express yourself, as a way to communicate a message that you can't verbally do, right? Like I couldn't write an essay about homelessness in San Francisco, so I started Tenderloin Hooker Needles to just basically shout it out. So always do it for your own creative expression, for having the message that you want to say. I think the second thing that I want to say is don't worry too much about learning the scales, learning the chords. Be on time. I find it very hard to believe that Neanderthals, when they were banging on stones and stuff like that, looked at each other going like, you're off key. I don't think that ever happened.
I think Adol Cut has shown us that you can still make a great song.
Exactly. Thank you. Adol Cut is a perfect example of that. You don't have to be on time. You don't have to be.
It's still a great song.
It's a great song.
It has a great message.
Exactly. Again, it's using misogyny to communicate anti-misogyny. And so, even though Seth Putnam is questionable sometimes, I don't think people got the humor, right? It's like misaware. So, I think don't worry too much about that. Play what you feel. No one's gonna judge you, and don't judge yourself. The days of the guitar hero are over. The days of the drumming hero are over. So just do what it feels. Get a couple of friends. Have fun doing that. And don't take it too serious either. To be honest, instruments are meant to be beat up. The more beat up the instrument, the better it sounds. Don't worry about playing 18 notes from a scale like in 20 seconds.
Or if you can't play Iron Maiden right away.
Yeah, don't get frustrated. If you can line Iron Maiden is a business. Metallica is a business. They have people, they have a payroll. They already made it, and they will always be there. Sure, enjoy the music, find it inspiring, but don't stress yourself. If you want to bang out a fantastic song just strumming one single chord all day, as long as you're happy doing it, record it, put it out there, guess what? Somebody will listen to it.
Okay, so when you say record, put it out there, what should kids be using to distribute their music? Are we still going to go use Dropbox?
You can. I'm totally not opposed to that. Because Spotify is not going to pay you shit. Apple Music is not going to pay you shit. So might as well distribute it yourself, right? The first albums of Misfits and Danzig were pressed by himself.
Dumb.
Right? So find your own distribution method. Find your own thing. Don't let anybody dictate you.
Use media stuff. That's what they should do.
Hey, media study is going to be fantastic for this. I do write software on the side. So find your way of distribution. Find somebody to make your t-shirts. If you want to play live, there's a fantastic place here in Denver, the 7th Street Collective, where everybody pretty much is like open mic, and you can get yourself booked. That is a non-profit, right? So then find places like that. No one has to tell you how to do things, as long as you have fun doing it at the end of the day.
Well, thank you, Papo, so much for stopping by One Light Studios. We are so thrilled to have you share the history of Tenderloin Hooker Needles. We are looking forward to what you guys are going to put out next. We're just so excited, happy that you guys are getting back in the studio yourself. I'm Erin from One Light Studios, and I want to thank you all. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, Feliz Navidad.
Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you for letting me tell the story that has been going on for so long. And we promise to be more active on the years to come, because hopefully I have a little bit more time and better gear. We're still going to sound like shit. We promise you that.
Any stolen equipment?
No, this time I bought some. So thank you all. Hope this little interview gets into somebody there to go out and create their own stuff. And most importantly, have no fear about what you need to say. Have no fear about it. Just express yourself without a care of what anybody's going to think. So, thank you all. Thank you, Erin.
And tune in next time when we get to interview Puerca
Suárez is coming over.
Next time.
Whoever she happens to be at the time.
Whoever. Maybe we'll get.
You will never interview Rosa La Transpeña.
No, she's not ready yet, right?
She will never be ready. I think she's so destroyed by now.
She's just. We're gonna do the black screen in front of her.
I think so. Yeah, she's gonna be like one of those. She's even happening to the reports out and well, then he bought drugs from me. Actually, frankly, you're better off interviewing in a seance Taylor Hawkins than her. Like,
oh, a seance interview.
A seance interview.
I like that.
You know what? Let's make that one the next one. Let's bring Taylor Hawkins on a seance.
No,
and maybe
with a ghost.
Maybe bring in Lane Staley also. Why not? No one remember him anyway when he died. So,
well, let's bring his memory back.
All righty, let's do a seance next time, Erin.
Definitely.
All right.
Thanks, Papo. Cheers.
Merry Christmas.
Like and subscribe.
All right.